Your first Ultraman show is gonna be special. My first Ultraman show was Ultraman Tiga. I first watched Tiga when I was a kid because I bought it on DVD. The first volume with 13 episodes, and that was it for a while. Because watching Ultraman back then was really hard, and I couldn't find the other volumes. I was lucky enough to watch some Ultraman movies growing up, but I didn't watch a full show till I was a teenager. And you'd think the first show I finished would be Tiga, but actually it was Ultraman Mebius. I didn't finish watching Tiga till I was an adult, but Mebius was the first show I ever finished watching. And Mebius, I have so much nostalgia. Sure, he was not my first Ultraman, he showed me the lore of Ultraman, who the Ultra Brothers are, and what it does mean to be Ultraman. But now, rewatching Mebius, actually knowing who the characters are is a totally different experience. Mebius is the youngest Ultra Brother, has big shoes to fill. Like with Ultra 7, he takes a human form as Miwai, but I feel like he woulda coulda host if he was able to save Ultraman, but sadly he was too late. One scene I really find interesting is when Miwai meets Ultraman's father, because how would you feel if you saw your loved one pass away right in front of you, but it's not them? It just makes the show so much more interesting. Eventually seeing Ultraman's father wants Miwai to live his own life. Ultraman Mebius' design is so cool looking to me. I just like how he fits so well with the Ultra Brothers. One thing I really like about Mebius is the fact he is so young and inexperienced, but he grows as the show goes on. Like in the first episode, when he defeats Dinosaur and he gets yelled at the end because of the property damage. That's one of my favorite scenes in the show, because Mebius learns from his past mistakes, and that's something I really liked. He learns a lot in this show, about humanity, the goodness about them, but also the bad. He also learns from his Ultra Brothers, but also his team. Team Guys is one of my favorite teams. I love this team so very much. One thing I noticed about Team Guys is they're all worthy to be an Ultraman host, because they all make the ultimate sacrifice to help someone else in the face of danger. Sure, other attack teams do that, but originally this team was not a team. They were just people with separate lives agreeing to help somebody in a kaiju attack. And that's one thing I really like about the show, where we see this team form. They don't get along at first, but then they become amazing friends. The first one I want to talk about is Konomi. She works at a daycare. She's the first one that goes out to save the rabbits from her daycare. She's a really awesome character. She becomes the mother of Mythilus and makes Mythilus brave. I love her relationship with Mythilus. And then there's Joycey. He's a famous soccer player. He's just a very fun character to watch. Not really a team player, but he learns to work with his team and becomes great friends with everybody. There's also Marina. She's a motorcycle racer. She wants to be a champion, and she has amazing hearing, and she's just a really cool character. And then there's Teppei. He's studying to be a doctor, and he's basically the strategist, knowing everything about kaijus. One episode I really liked it with Teppei was when his mom finds out he works at Guys. See, he didn't originally tell his mom because he didn't want her to worry. But at first she wants him to quit the job, but eventually she realizes her son is growing up. The captain is a great character, a really good captain, usually a guiding hand, kind of the dad of the group. He's a really interesting character as well. He's actually a lot older than he actually is, because he went to outer space and teamed up with Ultraman Zolfi. I love his connection with Zolfi, especially when he becomes a brief host for Zolfi. And the reveal about the captain being the chief suspector is just really interesting. He is the first character that knows about Miwai being Ultraman Mebius, and that's something I find really interesting. And eventually the whole team finds out about Miwai being Mebius, and I like the fact that the show did it early on in the show, because we get many great scenes with Team Guys and Mebius with them knowing he's Ultraman. Now let's talk about Rue. Rue is, well, my favorite character in this show, because Rue has amazing character development in this show. At first, Rue is just angry, because, well, he was the first one looking at Guys before anybody else. And he's seen his entire team die and his captain, Sarasawa. That's why he yells at Mebius for the property damage, but truly he's mad at himself for not being able to save anybody. Rue, in my opinion, has survivor's guilt. And I think he saw Sarasawa as a father figure. So this man is grieving, and he's really angry. And honestly, at first, really unlikable. But we see him grow, and become an irresponsible leader. I need to talk about Sarasawa for a sec. Because Sarasawa comes back as Hunter Knight Tsurugi. This amazing character looks so cool. I love the armor look. Hunter Knight Tsurugi shows what if Ultraman failed detecting his planet. Because Hunter Knight Tsurugi was studying this planet and he saw it get destroyed, and this fills him with anger and rage, and just makes him on this revenge mission. And this shows a more creepy side of Ultraman, with him kicking over Sarasawa's body. And this really tears up Rue when he sees Sarasawa alive again. But eventually, Hunter Knight Tsurugi becomes Ultraman Hekari. Eventually, Hekari needs to leave Earth, and he finally lets Sarasawa say goodbye to Rue. One thing Sarasawa and Rue bond over was the Ultracodes. Sarasawa supposedly learned it from a friend. I'm curious that with Jiro from Return of Ultraman. When Sarasawa and Rue say goodbye, this scene mirrors when Go and Jiro say goodbye, with them running after their Ultraman, screaming the Ultracodes. Every character in this show is just great and lovable. I even love Toriyama and Maru. One thing I really love about the show is seeing the Ultra Brothers, because actually now knowing who the characters are just makes it so much more special. The Ultraman Leo episode is so good, with Leo challenging Mebius to fight, because he wants Mebius to prove himself so he can attack Earth. And when Leo says the same words what Dan said to him when Mebius starts to cry, that just makes this episode so much more better. And I love the Ultraman 80 episode, with 80 having a reunion with his class. So sweet, so awesome, just makes me like 80 even more. I really like the fact they gave these two Ultra Brothers some screen time and really good episodes. Since it's set in the Showa universe, it's cool to hear about past kaijus with their first appearance, and actually know the episodes they're talking about. The one returning kaiju I really liked was Soa Maruchi, because it's a sequel to one of my favorite episodes from Return of Ultraman, with the boy digging holes. The Ainuen's son coming down for revenge for his father's death. It's such a good episode, and I like the fact they made a sequel of the episode. Now, one thing I think is really cool about Mebius is finally showing Ainuen Emperor. Because we first heard about him in Ultraman Taro, but we never knew what he looked like. And he's awesome looking. Another cool design is Samsa. This warrior wants to challenge Hunter Knight Tsurugi, and he learns the lesson of protecting something. And that's what he does. At the end of the series, he starts protecting the humans, and he even sacrificed himself to save Team Guys. Samsa is a great character and so cool looking. I absolutely love Ultraman Mebius, because it taught me so much about Ultraman. It's such a great show, and now we watching it again, I just love it even more.